Hello, my name is Kim and today I am going to be going through my crochet whips. So I currently have about 4 in my list that I'm aware of. I am going to see how many I can get done today, maybe include tomorrow as well. It's not really a challenge, but it's hopefully just getting some of the crochet whips that aren't particularly interesting for me anymore finished so that I can start new projects instead. So if you've seen my channel before, you will know that I'm currently on a de-stash journey and I'm nearly 6 months into it. I'm 5 months into it, and my hope is that by getting through some more of the works in progress that I've currently got on the go, I can start more projects and start getting more of the yarn out of my stash and start de-stashing a bit more. So let's get started. So all of my crochet whips should be at the top here. Now I'm going to get all of the whips out, but I know that these aren't all whips. So this one, for example, is a jumper I unpicked. So technically it's not a whip because there's nothing left of it. So that is, this one here is a whip. This one is also a whip. And this one is a whip. So you will have seen that I just took out 3 whips from my cupboard. I did say that I've got 4 whips. Yeah, that's a bit better. I did say that I've got 4 whips. You have to bear with me. So I've got 3 crochet whips and I've got 1 that is a cross stitch work in progress. And because it involves yarn, I'm counting that in my works in progress as well. So the 3 crochet works in progress that I've got currently. So the first one are lots of granny squares, and I've talked about this quite a lot on my podcast. I bought these as part of someone else's de-stash, and my plan is to make these into fingerless gloves. So the plan is to have those on the back of the hands, and then all I need to do is crochet a rectangle here and a little cuff, and then they will be done. So I've got enough for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pairs of fingerless gloves. One is purple, it's 3D, the rest are either cream or white. But the reason I didn't get that project done for quite a while is because it was someone else's de-stash, I didn't have the right yarn. I picked up this white acrylic, just very basic yarn from someone who was having a de-stash. And I think this is quite similar to the white yarn that they've used, so I've got that. And I've also got some yarn from unpicking some of the other things that I got from this person. So I've got sort of the white, I've got random white skeins of various different yarns, so I'm going to try those out. Because I'm 99.9% sure that all of this was made with acrylic, I'm going to try and keep it with acrylic rather than going to cotton or similar. So that's the first one that I've got. So loads of white yarn that will need to be sorted through. Then I've got some random purples and greys and things, so that's project number 1. Project number 2 is apparently really caught up. So it's a Christmassy project of making Christmas garlands. I'm showing you the back. Christmas presents and using them for garlands. So I've made 5 so far, and because I'm using this variegated wool yarn from Rickarumi, I think, yeah, Rickarumi, because I'm using this variegated yarn, it has gone from white to white and a little bit of green all the way until this. So it's very subtle, but I like the variegation in the yarn. So once I have finished all of these, I might even, looking at them now, I might even be able to turn this into an advent calendar and just have something really little that can go in there. I'll see at the end how many presents I've got left at the end, but that might be quite nice. I did make these presents slightly different sizes as well, so some of them are very much square, and then some of them are a bit more rectangular, just because I thought that it would look nicer than all being exactly the same size. But I'll have to see if I have written down how many chains I did at the start, because otherwise I might make them a lot bigger. It might be a bit of trial and error. And then just to crochet on the sort of the ribbon, I've just used some plain cotton. So that's project 2, and then the last crochet project is this sock. So this is a pattern by Handmade by Joe. I can't remember what he's called it. I think it's something like Happy Feet, similar to that. So I finished one sock. I've got a second sock syndrome. So the other one is going to be a sister sock. So it will be, the main colour will be white and then the accents will be black. So that will be really cool to work up. But if you've ever worked socks before, you will know that it's not necessarily something, unless you know the pattern really well, it's not necessarily something that you can just wing. You have to very much count your stitches, do a bit of maths. And because I don't know any patterns for socks off the top of my head, it is very much, I have to be conscious. I need to consciously be crocheting. So that's why I haven't sort of picked that up in a little while. But feeling it now, it is very stretchy compared to a lot of the other sock patterns that I've used. So that looks quite cool. I wonder whether it was the heel that was maybe a little bit tough, or because it's quite stretchy it had some holes in. I wasn't really a fan of that. I don't know, but it is a good pattern. I've worked with Joe on a couple of pattern tests, so that's a good pattern, but it's time consuming and that's why I haven't done it yet. So there's the 3 works in progress, and then the last one that's not well, it's a yarny project but not a crochet project, is this. So if you have seen my previous podcast, you will know that I hadn't done a lot of the purpley colours and the dark colours. I hadn't done any of the brown, so I've done quite a lot of that. It's just filling everything in with white now. So you can see that I finished that corner, and then it's just continuing. So my plan of action for this is to start with the easier projects. So I think I will start with the fingerless gloves. So once I have finished either a set of gloves or my hands hurt or something like that, I'm going to change over to the cross stitch, and I am going to do maybe 1 or 2 lengths of the white, and then I can go back. Yeah, this is quite thick yarn. I say quite thick yarn. It's thicker, so this is yarn rather than thread. It's probably about a DK weight, so that makes the project quicker. So hopefully using the cross stitch as a bit of a break for my hands will help the projects go a bit quicker, and hopefully it will mean that more gets done. So yeah, I'm going to start the mittens now. So as I said, the project I'm going to start on is the fingerless gloves. So the reason I've been putting this off, firstly, is because I didn't have the right yarn, but also because I don't have a pattern, and I would probably rather follow a pattern because it's easier, but not everything worth having comes easy, so there we go. So as I said, my plan is to have this on the back of the hands. So what I need to do is to add some yarn, or join the yarn on this corner, find the corner, join it all the way to the end, and then just I'm probably going to do single stitches to get it to meet on the other side. Then when I join, I'm going to leave a gap big enough for the thumb, and then I will see how it sits on the hand, but it might be that I add probably a little, probably going to look to add a cuff just so that it stays on a bit firmer. And then of all the yarn that I've picked out for this project, I think the best white yarn is going to be the, oh it's all tangled. So the best white yarn is probably going to be the yarn that I picked up recently. So this was the acrylic yarn that I had, that I sort of picked out for this project. So it's black with sparkles in it. It looks okay, but I would prefer something coordinating. So we've got the black, and then we've got the dark grey, which again, it doesn't look bad, but I would prefer something coordinating, and I think this is slightly thicker as well. So I'm going to stick with the, that's not acrylic. So I'm going to stick with the acrylic that I have got. White is more neutral. I've got dark purple as well. I might see how that looks, but I think I'm leaning towards the white, to be completely honest. Maybe I'll see how it goes. I'll start with a white one. I'm just guessing that this will probably be a 4.5 hook as well. So I'm going to put something nice on to watch, and then I'm going to get crocheting, and I'll show you when I get to a good point. So I have been crocheting for about an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours. So I haven't necessarily, it doesn't look like I've done a lot. So the first thing I did was to put stitch markers in all of the corners so that when I join the new yarn on, it's easier. And I've just added a little clip to the side that's the start and the finish, so that I can start crocheting from this, so it will have a bit of a neater edge. So I've finished one pair so far, which is a white pair. Check up it now, right? No. It's really difficult to do one-handed. So this is the side that I've done. That's the other side. So I don't know whether it necessarily needs a cuff, but it definitely needs to be blocked, because this side, I think my gauge was slightly longer or slightly thicker than hers, so I'm going to block it. But that's the finished pair. Yeah, they're really cool, just, as I said, just as hand warmers, but you can still do stuff with your hand, so so they need good blocking. I've also woven in all of the ends, so when I come back after lunch I can just start cracking through them. There's 5 more pairs to do, so I'm hoping to do at least 3 or 4 today if I can do. Get most of them done. But yeah. So it's about 5:30 now. I've spent most of the day, or since this morning, I've spent most of the morning finishing off the Crochet Granny Square gloves. So it takes me about 20-25 minutes to finish this square, which doesn't look very long, but that doesn't include the sewing in, the finishing of the sides and stuff. I'm not a very quick crocheter, so I have finished 1 pair. The ends are all sewn in, I just need to block them because, as you can see, it needs to be blocked. So a white pair, a second white pair, the lilac pairs, which I have backed in white. I tried it with the dark purple, it just didn't look very nice, so I've done white. So I finished 3 pairs, and then I've finished crocheting the back of this. I need to sew it up, and then I'll have done 3.5 pairs, which is more than half of them. Yeah, that's just over half of them. So 6 pairs, so 3.5 pairs is just over half. So I'm probably going to carry on doing them tonight. So I've got obviously 1 more white to do, and I've got 2 creamy pairs. I don't have any cream yarn, so I think I might just back it in this white. Just because I don't have any other yarn to finish it off with, not that coordinates. The only other thing that I can do is use this cream yarn from my cross stitch when I finish it off, but I would not be able to finish them until I finish this, and then I'm not guaranteed that there will be enough to finish the gloves off. I might weigh how much yarn I'm using for each back of the gloves and then work it out from there whether I would have... No, that wouldn't make sense. Yeah, I think I'll just back them in white, and then I'm probably going to add some ribbing to the wrist. So finish the other pairs tonight, sew them up, block them, and once they're dried and blocked I will then add the ribbing to them, which will hopefully be the tomorrow or the next day. So that's my plan for this evening, is to finish the 5 remaining gloves, and then maybe I'll have time to do some cross stitch, but probably not, and then block them, and then hopefully they'll be ready to finish. But yeah, if I don't film any more tonight, have a wonderful evening, and I'll be back with you tomorrow. Take care. Hello, so it is now the next day. Last night I finished 1 of the pairs of gloves. I've nearly finished the second pair, I just need to sew them up. And I'm going to be doing that. So I have got 1 pair of gloves that are left that I haven't been able to finish because I haven't got too much yarn left, and I'm looking to do ribbing round the edges of all the gloves, and I've used the same yarn for all of the gloves, so this needs to do quite a lot of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs. So this needs to be enough to rib 5 pairs of gloves, which I'm not sure if it will or not. so I haven't used all of it. If I have any left, which I think is not a high possibility, then I will finish those ones. I can also use this yarn, which is quite stretchy. I don't actually know where it came from. Just plain white acrylic yarn. If it's not focusing, it's not that amazing. It's white yarn, so I can use that instead. I'm popping out this morning, so I'm going to finish sewing these together. I'm going to soak them while I'm out, and then when I come back I will block them. And don't laugh, I don't actually have any buckets in my house, so I'm using this plastic bag to soak them in, because I always worry about putting them in sinks and stuff, getting like toothpaste or getting some stain on them somewhere, because I can scrub my sinks until they're sparkling, guaranteed. When I take the gloves out, especially because it's white yarn, it will have something on there somewhere. So I don't want to take the risk. I'd rather put them in a bag. So yes, my plan for this morning is to finish these gloves, sew them together, soak everything, and then when I get back I can block them. And then I can go on to my next project, which will probably be the present garland. Yes, another project that's not too exciting, but it needs to get done. But I am very excited to get these granny square mittens off of my to-do list, because they've been there since the start of the year. So yeah, catch you on the flip side. I have just blocked the gloves, they're just on the floor. I am just about to start some more presents. I am really liking the idea of turning it into an advent calendar, but I will need to see how many presents I can make. Yeah, I think that's a really nice idea. But yeah, let's get on to making some presents. I think I will probably make 4, 5 today maybe, but we shall see. And then yeah, I'll probably be finishing off some presents tomorrow as well. Hopefully the wrist warmers will be dry tomorrow, so I will be able to finish those off as well and just mark them as complete on Notion, which is where I track all of my whips. So yay, now on to presents. So I have just finished making quite a lot of presents. So I've made 7 more than I had made this morning or this afternoon. So in a matter of a couple of hours, these are the ones that I've made. I really love the way that they are going in graduation? No. The way that the colour is gradually changing. So I have decided to put these colour-coded markers on the top, just so that the ones that are quite similar I can tell what order they go in. So yeah, obviously from green to blue, and then I can obviously see which ones, how the sequence goes. And this is just what I've got left in my handmade, not by me, yarn cozy. So yeah, I can definitely get a few more of this done, of yarn out of this. It just depends if I want the presents to end in red or not, because this is my secondary colour, which is quite similar to the colour on the inside. So yeah, as I'm going out tonight, I'm probably not going to get any more crochet done or any more videos done, but I will be back at it tomorrow, where hopefully I can finish the present garland, and I can also finish, if you can see it, I will also be able to finish the mittens on the floor. They're just drying at the moment, and then I can cross off 2 works in progresses. Yay! Anyway, I will catch you tomorrow. Bye. Good morning. It is now Thursday, or day 3 of filming. Tomorrow I am away, so today is the last day that I will be finishing my works in progress off. So I've started the day by completing another little present, just one. And I am just going to check to see whether, oh, excuse all the rustling. I am just going to check whether the gloves are dry yet. I think that they are not. No, they're still a little bit damp. Yeah, so they're all a little bit damp. So I'm going to see whether I can dry those off, hopefully for this afternoon, so that I can finish them off. As I said, I'd really like to get them taken off of my to-do list. So yes, I will put them on the windowsill so that they are in direct sunlight for this afternoon for a couple of hours, and then hopefully this afternoon I will be able to finish them off by either crocheting ribbing along the bottoms or just leaving them as is, depending on how they come out. Excuse my socks. So I have just popped the wrist warmers, hand warmers, fingerless gloves, whatever you want to call them, in the window to hopefully dry off. As you can see, it's quite sunny today. So hopefully they will be dried by this afternoon. My plan for this morning is to continue making the present garland. I will see how far I get with those, just because my hand is getting a little bit crampy anyway. So if I complete a couple more, I'll have 15. Yeah, I'll see how it goes. I'm hoping to finish off the present garland today. Hopefully this morning is around 9 now. If I do get a bit tired, I will start the cross stitch again. Just get a bit more of that done. And yeah, that's my very loose plan, is to finish the present garland this morning. If my hands keep cramping, then I will do the cross stitch, and then this afternoon I will come back to the plan. Hopefully the fingerless mittens will be dry so I can finish those off. So hopefully I will be much closer to signing off the 3 works in progress than I was before. And if I don't get them all finished, hopefully I will get at least 1 or 2 of them done. So fingers crossed. So just to show you what I've been doing this afternoon, I have finished all of these presents. I have actually taken the red embroidery off of the first few ones that I did. So it'll be a little bit something like that. I need to block them, so that will be my next step. And I was thinking, as I've said a few times before, of making an advent calendar with them. So these can be the little pockets. I just need to crochet a backing for them. But I quite like the colour fade. So yeah, I'm going to soak those, and whilst they're soaking, I can grab the gloves from where they're being blocked at the moment. And just to show you, I finished quite a bit of the cushion as well. And just to show you what's left of the yarn, got this, this and this. So I was hoping I could sort of patch them together so that they could be sort of one lot of yarn that can change colour, if that makes sense. I took the red out of the centre of both of them because I thought if I'm going to use this background, having plain red, they're quite similar. I didn't want them to sort of fade into each other. So yeah, that was my plan. That is my plan even. So let me get started on the gloves. Woohoo! So I have just taken the gloves down. They're still a little bit damp, but that's fine. They've got time to dry off, obviously. So I've just started adding a little I've just started adding ribbing to this, and yes, I've made it a little bit tight. I'm so undecided about whether it looks okay or not. I think I prefer it without, along with the fact that I'm also playing yarn chicken. So this is all the white yarn that I've got left. Yeah, so it looks okay on this side. On this side it doesn't look too great. I don't know. I'm not a massive fan. So I'm going to unpick that and I'm going to use the rest of the yarn, but I'm going to finish these instead. Then I can block them with my other projects, and I will just leave them how they are. And they can just sort of be looser ones for the winter, or for people who maybe don't have as much mobility in their hands, or people who just want things that they can slip on and off quite easy. So yeah, that has made my decision for me. So this video has been a lot longer than I was expecting it to be, but I have finished all 6 pairs of mittens. I've got 5 pairs that are finished, and I've got 1 pair that is just being blocked at the moment, so as soon as that comes off it'll be ready. And the present garland, I have crocheted all of the squares. I am possibly planning on making them into an advent calendar, but I finished all the squares now, so I finished 25. They are just being blocked as well, so once they are finished and dried, hopefully after my weekend away, I will be able to finish the advent calendar, or start the backing of the advent calendar at least, unless I decide to do something else with them. But just because they are green, red and white, it's very Christmassy colours for me. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching the completion of 2 of my works in progress. Now I only have the sock project and this cross stitch. So I am going to be working on my cross stitch project tonight, but I need to wrap this up so that I can edit and upload this video, hopefully in time for the weekend. So thank you very much for thank you very much for watching, and I just wanted to end the video on this little note that I am lucky enough to be able to dedicate a few days this week just to finishing my works in progress. I understand that it's not achievable for everyone to do that, and hopefully in the future I will finish more projects before I start new ones. So thank you so much for watching everyone, and until next time, take care, all the best, have a great weekend.